She's got a $1 billion palace, 14 private jets, and a $348 million super yacht. But that's just the start of this queen's insanely luxurious lifestyle. Get ready as we take you inside the opulent world of Qatar's richest royal. Ever wonder what it's like to be one of the world's richest queens? For Sheikha Moza bint Nasser, luxury doesn't have any limits. Born on August 8, 1959, in Al Khor, Qatar, she married Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani and became a key part of Qatar's royal family. Her personal wealth is a whopping $15 billion, and she has access to the family's mind-blowing $335 billion net worth. We're talking high-end real estate, brands like Valentino and Harrods, and a private airline fleet. Sheikha Moza's life is all about extravagance, and we're about to show you just how lavish it gets. Setting the scene. You think being born into the royal family is all it takes to live like a queen? Nah, Sheikha Moza had to put in work to get where she is today. Born on August 8, 1959 in Al Khor, Qatar, Moza's journey was anything but a straight shot to the top. Her dad was a big-time businessman and politician, but he got locked up for speaking out against the ruler. The family got kicked out of Qatar and had to go live in Kuwait and Egypt for a while. But Moza wasn't about to let that stop her. She came back to Qatar and enrolled at Qatar University, where she caught the eye of Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the guy who would go on to be the emir. At just 18 years old, Moza became his second wife and stepped into a whole new world of power and influence. And let me tell you, this queen didn't just sit back and enjoy the perks of being royalty. Moza's got brains to match her billions. She earned a bachelor's degree in sociology from Qatar University and a master's in public policy and Islam from Hamad bin Khalifa University. And that's not even counting all the honorary doctorates she's racked up from places like Virginia Commonwealth, Texas A&M, Carnegie Mellon, Imperial College London, and Georgetown. But Moza's not just about collecting degrees. She's out there making moves and shaking things up. She co-founded the Qatar Foundation for Education, Science and Community Development, which is all about reforming education and pushing for social development. And get this, she's the one who brought foreign universities to Qatar and made Education City in Doha happen. We're talking branches of top American universities right there in the middle of the desert. And that's just the start of what this queen's been up to. Moza's always looking for ways to give back and make a difference. She founded Philanthropy to create jobs for young people in the region, and she's constantly involved in all kinds of philanthropic activities. It's no wonder she's been named one of Forbes's 100 most powerful women and made it onto Gulf Business top 100 most powerful Arabs list. But don't think for a second that Moza's sacrificing style for substance. This queen's got fashion on lock. She's known for her sophisticated and elegant looks, rocking designs from top fashion houses like Chanel, Hermes, and Valentino, rising to prominence. So you're probably wondering, how did Moza go from being the daughter of a dissident to one of the most powerful women in the world? Well, it all started with her dad. See, even though he got thrown in jail for speaking out against the emir, he never stopped learning, and that dedication to education, it rubbed off on Moza big time. She didn't just sit around in exile, she hit the books hard, earning degrees and honorary doctorates left and right. But Moza's rise to power wasn't just about hitting the books. No, she was the driving force behind her husband's takeover in 1995. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani may have been the one to overthrow his dad in a bloodless coup, but let's be real, Moza was the mastermind. And when her son Tamim took power in 2013, same story. Some say Moza pulled the strings to make sure her second-born got the top spot instead of his older brother Jassim. So yeah, Moza's not just some pretty face with a fancy title, she's the real deal when it comes to wielding power in Qatar. I mean, they don't call her the actual ruler for nothing. This queen's got her hands in everything from politics to culture to finance, and she's not afraid to make big moves to get what she wants. But hey, when you're as loaded as Moza, you can pretty much do whatever you want, right? I'm talking billions with a capital B, and trust me, this queen knows how to spend it in style. Unveiling ultimate luxury. You already know Sheikha Moza's got more money than most countries. But have you seen the insane real estate empire she's built with it? We're talking properties that make Versailles look like a shed. With a net worth of around $15 billion, this queen's got no shortage of cash to drop on the fanciest cribs you've ever seen. Let's start with her home base in Doha. The royal palace cost a cool billion to build, and it's got everything a queen could want. 15 different palaces, all decked out in real gold accents, parking for 500 cars. And that's just the beginning. Moza brought in some top Italian designers to give the place a makeover that's got Baroque style in the formal rooms and full-on deco glam in the family spaces. But one palace isn't enough for a queen like Moza. She's also got a serious collection of mansions in some of London's priciest spots. We're talking not one but two pads on Cornwall Terrace in Regent's Park. The first one at 1 Cornwall Terrace is a monster at 21,500 square feet with 7 bedrooms, 11 reception rooms, 9 bathrooms, and even its own gym and indoor pool. The other one at 3 Cornwall Terrace is a little smaller at 14,000 square feet, but still packs in 6 bedrooms. And get this, Moza was planning to turn these two places into a mega mansion worth $230 million. 17 bedrooms, 5 stories, grade 1 listed. This thing was going to be a palace in its own right. Oh, and according to the Pandora Papers, the family managed to dodge paying $18.5 million in stamp duty by buying the properties through some offshore shell companies. But Moza wasn't done there. In 2014, she dropped £191 million on 3 side-by-side houses in London and turned them into one massive palace loaded with all the luxury features you can imagine. So yeah, when it comes to real estate, Sheikha Moza is not playing around. She's got the kind of property portfolio that would make even the richest billionaires jealous. But for a queen with a net worth of $15 billion, it's just another day in the life. And speaking of the high life, wait until you see the insane rides Moza's got stashed in the garages of those palaces. We're talking cars so exclusive you've probably never even heard of them. Bugattis, Lamborghinis, and not just any old models. $1 million rides. This queen's got a car collection that'll make your jaw drop. We're talking about rides so rare, you probably didn't even know they existed. Take the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300. This beast holds the world record for the fastest car, clocking in at a mind-blowing 300 miles per hour. That's like going from 0 to holy sh**t in 2.4 seconds. And get this, only 30 of these bad boys were ever made, so you know Moza had to have one. But that ain't the only Bugatti in her fleet. She's also got the Divo, a $5 million masterpiece that looks like it was sculpted by the gods themselves. With only 40 of these in existence, spotting one in the wild is like finding a unicorn. And guess what? Moza's son, Sheikh Khalifa, was seen cruising around London in one of these beauties. And then there's the Lamborghini CNFKP 37. This ain't your average Lambo. It's a hybrid supercar that's got a V12 engine and a 48-volt mild hybrid system. In other words, it's like a spaceship on wheels. Moza managed to snag one of the 63 that were ever made, because why settle for a regular old Lamborghini when you can have a limited edition one? But Moza's not just about speed, she's got style too. The Ferrari Monza SP2 in her collection is a work of art. It's got curves in all the right places and a design that'll make you weak in the knees. And with only a handful of these babies ever produced, you know it's exclusive AF. So yeah, when it comes to cars, Sheikha Moza doesn't mess around. She's got a collection that's worth more than most people will make in a lifetime. But I guess when you're the richest queen in Qatar, dropping millions on cars is just another day in the life. Sailing in style? Alright, so you already know Moza's got a car collection that's straight out of your wildest dreams. But let me tell you, her yachts are on a whole other level. No, really, these things are so insane you'll think you're hallucinating. Let's start with the Qatar. This beast is one of the biggest super yachts in the world, clocking in at a mind-blowing $348 million. And get this, it's got room for 35 people, so Moza can bring her whole squad along for the ride. But the Qatar ain't just big, it's decked out with all the luxury features you can imagine. We're talking a helicopter pad, so Moza can fly in and out like the boss she is. And you know she's got a pool on deck, because what's a super yacht without a place to take a dip? But wait, there's more. The Al Mirkab is another one of Moza's floating palaces, and this thing is so gorgeous. It was named one of the most beautiful yachts by Forbes back in 2008. And let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. This baby's got 12 rooms, 2 pools, a gym, a movie theater, and even a jacuzzi. Because why choose between watching a flick or soaking in some bubbles when you can do both? And the Al Mirkab ain't just pretty, it's got some serious art on board. We're talking works by Picasso and Van Gogh, because regular old paintings just won't cut it for a queen like Moza. Oh, and the furniture, all handcrafted because mass-produced just ain't her style. Now, you might be thinking, but what does Moza actually do with these yachts? Well, let me tell you, she puts them to good use. The royal family is always jetting off to some exotic location, and these yachts are their go-to mode of transportation. They've been spotted cruising around the Aegean Sea, docking in places like Cornwall, and just generally living it up on the water. But Moza's not just about having fun, she's also got safety on lock. When the Al Mirkab set sail during the pandemic, all 50 crew members got tested for COVID before they could even step on board. And get this, the yacht's even got its own medical staff and a molecular analyzer for continuous testing. Because when you're a billionaire, you don't take chances with your health. So yeah, Sheikha Moza's yacht collection is the stuff of legends. Sky-high luxury. These things take luxury to a whole new altitude, literally. No, really. The Qatari royal family owns a private airline with a fleet of 14 jets reserved for their exclusive use. That means no annoying seatmates, no crying babies, and definitely no economy class. But these ain't your average private jets. We're talking top-of-the-line, fully customized flying mansions. Think plush leather seats that recline all the way back, gourmet meals served on fine china, and entertainment systems that put your local movie theater to shame. Oh, and let's not forget the gold-plated everything, because why not? And it's not just about comfort, it's about convenience too. When you've got a fleet of private jets at your disposal, you can jet off to any corner of the globe at a moment's notice. No more dealing with pesky layovers or flight delays. If Moza wants to have breakfast in Paris and dinner in New York, she can make it happen without breaking a sweat. But the real cherry on top, the royal family's jets come equipped with their very own helicopters. Yep, you read that right. The Qatar super yacht features a helicopter pad, so Moza can go from sea to sky in style. Imagine pulling up to your yacht in a sleek black chopper, the wind whipping through your hair as you step out onto the deck. It's like something straight out of a James Bond movie. And when it comes to helicopters, Moza doesn't mess around. She's got a fleet of top-of-the-line models, each one more luxurious than the last. We're talking leather interiors, state-of-the-art navigation systems, and even minibars stocked with the finest champagne. Because why fly if you can't do it in style? But Moza's not just using these choppers for joy rides. When the royal family travels, they travel in serious style. They've been spotted hopping from yacht to jet to helicopter, crisscrossing the globe like it's their own personal playground. And with all that luxury at their fingertips, who can blame them? So yeah, when it comes to sky-high luxury, Sheikha Moza is in a league of her own. A day in the Queen's life. So you already know Moza's got a wardrobe that's straight out of your wildest fashion fantasies. But let me tell you, her style game is on a whole other level. No, really, this queen isn't just dressing to impress. She's a bona fide fashion icon with designers like Chanel and Hermes on speed dial. But don't just take my word for it. Harold Koder, the former curator of the Metropolitan Let's Meet Costume Institute, said Moza's style requires aesthetic sophistication, discipline, and a decisive point of view. And let me tell you, she's got all that and then some. In fact, she was the sole inductee into Vanity Fair's International Best Dressed Hall of Fame in 2015, and in 2018, she cut their best dressed list as a globalista alongside Meghan Markle. That's some serious fashion cred right there. So what's Moza's secret to looking so damn good all the time? It's all about that sophisticated, elegant, and modest vibe. One Vanity Fair jury member even called her wardrobe the ultimate regal power statement. And when you're rocking top designers like Jean-Paul Gaultier and Valentino on the regular, it's hard not to make a statement. But Moza's not just about the clothes, she's got the accessories to match. We're talking stunning footwear by Christian Louboutin and exclusive jewelry from brands like Cartier, Van Cleef and Arpels and Harry Winston. And get this, she doesn't even use a stylist. Moza says no one would understand her needs as well as she does, so she's taking charge of her own fashion destiny. And when she's not busy being a fashion queen, Moza's living it up in the most extravagant way possible. Her daily routines are the stuff of mere mortal dreams. Picture this. When she's feeling exhausted, Moza heads to her dressing room and just goes through her closets, mixing and matching pieces like it's her own personal fashion show. Talk about a mental treat. But Mosa's not just keeping all that fashion goodness to herself. She's also a big supporter of local designers and has been involved with Fashion Trust Arabia, which focuses on women's wear designs. And when it comes to modest fashion, Mosa's got a unique approach. She's all about customizing haute couture designs to fit Qatari modesty rules. It's earned her international acclaim and a seriously distinctive personal style. And don't even get me started on her travel style. Mosa's a constant globetrotter, hopping from one high-profile event to the next in stunning outfits that'll make your jaw drop. Mega mansions. This queen's got a real estate portfolio that's the stuff of mere mortal dreams. And one of the crown jewels, her Cornwall Terrace cribs in London. Now, when I say these homes are luxe, I mean they're dripping in opulence. We're talking 35,500 square feet of pure extravagance, spread out over not one, not two, but 3 mega mansions. And get this, Mosa dropped a cool $120 million to snag these bad boys. That's the kind of cash most of us can only dream of. But Mosa's not just about the square footage, she's all about those high-end features too. Picture this, one Cornwall Terrace alone boasts 7 bedrooms, 11 reception rooms, 9 bathrooms, and even its own leisure complex, complete with a gym and heated indoor pool. And that's just one of the properties, and don't even get me started on the plans Mosa had for these homes. Word on the street is she wanted to combine 3 Cornwall Terrace into a single 17-bedroom palace worth an estimated $230 million. That's the kind of home makeover that'd put all those HGTV shows to shame. But here's the real kicker. Mosa's not just spending big, she's saving big too. Thanks to some clever offshore firm action, she reportedly dodged $18.5 million in stamp duty on the Cornwall Terrace purchases. That's the kind of financial finesse that separates the millionaires from the billionaires. And Cornwall Terrace is just the tip of the iceberg. Mosa's also dropped mad cash on 3 adjacent houses in London to the tune of £191 million, $240 million. The plan? Convert them into one massive palace decked out with world-class everything. Because when you're the richest queen in Qatar, one mega mansion just ain't enough. So yeah, Mosa's homes are the definition of unimaginable luxury. But what's even more mind-blowing, the fact that she's living this lavish life in a country where the average woman can only dream of that kind of freedom. Because while Mosa's out here scooping up properties and jet-setting around the globe, most Qatari women are still navigating a world of strict social codes and limited opportunities. Why Qatar stands out? So why's Qatar such a magnet for the mega-rich? It ain't just about the bling, baby. No, really, this tiny desert nation's got a secret sauce that's straight up irresistible to billionaires. And it all starts with one magic word: taxes. Or should I say, the lack thereof. You heard me right. Qatar's serving up a tax-free paradise that's got the wealthy weak in the knees. We're talking 0 personal income tax, no capital gains tax, and corporate tax rates so low you'd think it was a typo. It's like hitting the jackpot every damn day. But that's just the beginning. Qatar's also sitting pretty on some of the world's largest oil and natural gas reserves. And you know what that means? Cash money, honey. The country's raking in billions on the regular, and they're using it to build a playground for the ultra-rich. Picture this: gleaming skyscrapers, over-the-top shopping malls, and luxury hotels that'll make your head spin. And let's not forget about the perks. Qatar's rolling out the red carpet for the 1% with VIP everything. We're talking private airport lounges, concierge services that'll make your wildest dreams come true, and a lifestyle that's all about excess. But here's the real kicker. While Sheikha Mosa's out here living her best life, most Qatari women are still playing by a whole different set of rules. It's a stark contrast that'll make you do a double take. On one hand, you've got Mosa jet-setting around the globe, scooping up mega mansions and rocking designer threads like it's nobody's business. But on the other hand, the average Qatari woman's still navigating a world of strict social codes and limited freedoms. In Qatar, women are expected to dress modestly, and many still need permission from their male guardians to do basic things like travel or get married. It's a far cry from the lavish lifestyle Mosa's living, but that's just how it goes in a place like Qatar, where the ultra-rich play by their own rules. And for the wealthy elite, this desert oasis is a haven like no other, spending gleaming fortunes. You thought Mosa's homes were wild? Just wait till you hear about her spending habits. This queen ain't just sitting on her billions, she's out here dropping cash like it's going out of style. First up, the fashion. Mosa's got a wardrobe that'd make even the most die-hard shopaholics jealous. We're talking couture from all the top designers: Chanel, Hermes, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Valentino, you name it. But her real weakness? Shoes. And not just any shoes. Christian Louboutin. The woman's got a serious thing for those red bottoms. But it ain't just about the clothes. Mosa's also got a thing for bling. Her jewelry collection is the stuff of legends, with pieces from Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, Harry Winston, Buccellati, David Webb and Chatilla. We're talking extravagant sets like a golden coral necklace and earrings by David Webb, Cartier beetle brooches, and a diamond-covered Cartier snake necklace that'll make your eyes pop. And let's not forget about the art. Mosa's got a collection that'd make any museum curator green with envy. She's dropped mad cash on pieces like Mark Rothko's White Center, which she scooped up for a cool $72.8 million. And then there's Cézanne's The Card Players, which she nabbed for a jaw-dropping $250 million. That's the kind of art shopping that separates the high rollers from the pretenders. But here's the thing, Mosa's not just spending all this cash on herself, she's also out here making power moves on the political and social scene. This queen's got her fingers in all kinds of pies, from education initiatives to cultural projects. And when she speaks, people listen. So yeah, Mosa's spending habits are the definition of extravagant, but she's also using her wealth and influence to make some serious waves in Qatar and beyond. Influence and power. Mosa ain't just a pretty face with a killer wardrobe. This queen's got some serious clout when it comes to Qatar's political and social scene. We're talking about a woman who's been pulling strings and making moves behind the scenes for years. First up, education. Mosa's not just talk when it comes to schooling, she's been putting in the work. She co-founded the Qatar Foundation way back in 1995, and it's been making waves ever since. This powerhouse organization is all about education, science, and community development. And Mosa, she's been the driving force behind it all. But that's not the only trick up her sleeve. Mosa's also been instrumental in bringing some of the biggest names in American education to Qatar. We're talking satellite campuses of top-notch universities like Georgetown, Northwestern and Carnegie Mellon. It's all part of Qatar's master plan to flex its soft power muscles and cozy up to the West. And if you thought Mosa's influence stopped at Qatar's borders, think again. Since 2003, she's been serving as UNESCO's special envoy for basic and higher education. That means she's out here representing on a global scale, pushing for education reforms and initiatives that are changing the game. But it's not just about the books. Mosa's also got her hands in the job market. In 2008, she founded Silatech, an organization that's all about hooking up young people in the region with jobs and opportunities. Whether it's locally or abroad, Mosa's making sure the youth are getting their shot. And let's not forget about her role in the Arab Democracy Foundation. Mosa's been the chairperson of this heavyweight organization, working to promote democracy and human rights across the Arab world. It's a tall order, but if anyone can handle it, it's Mosa. On the home front, Mosa's been holding it down as the president of the Supreme Council for Family Affairs since 1998. She's also been the vice president of the Supreme Education Council since 2002. In other words, when it comes to family and education, Mosa's got her finger on the pulse. All this influence and power hasn't gone unnoticed. Mosa's been racking up accolades left and right. Forbes named her one of the 100 most powerful women in 2007 and 2010, and Gulf Business had her on their top 100 most powerful Arabs list from 2013 to 2017. But here's the thing, Mosa's not just using her power for personal gain. She's out here trying to make a real difference. When she speaks, people listen, and she's using that platform to push for change, whether it's through education reform or cultural initiatives. So yeah, Mosa's influence and power are the real deal. She's not just a queen in title, she's a force to be reckoned with on Qatar's political and social landscape. And speaking of making a difference, you won't believe the philanthropic moves Mosa's been making. Philanthropy with purpose. Mosa's philanthropic game is on a whole other level. This queen ain't just dropping cash on fancy clothes and cars, she's out here making a real difference in people's lives, and she's doing it with style. First up, the Qatar Foundation. Moza co-founded this powerhouse organization back in 1995, and it's been changing the game ever since. We're talking education, science, community development. You name it, the Qatar Foundation is on it, and Moza, she's the driving force behind it all. But that's not the only trick up her sleeve. In 2008, Moza launched Philanthropy, an organization that's all about hooking up young people in the region with jobs and opportunities. Whether it's in Qatar or abroad, Moza's making sure the youth are getting their shot. And with a name like Philanthropy, which means your connection in Arabic, you know she means business. But Moza's not just focused on education and jobs, she's also been a vocal advocate against domestic violence. This queen's been campaigning hard to bring awareness to the issue and push for change across the region. And when Moza speaks, people listen. Of course, Moza's philanthropic efforts haven't gone unnoticed. She's been serving as UNESCO's Special Envoy for Basic and Higher Education since 2003, representing on a global scale and pushing for education reforms that are changing the game. But here's the thing, Moza's not just writing checks and calling it a day, she's getting her hands dirty, working on the ground to make sure her initiatives are making a real impact. Whether it's through the Qatar Foundation, Philanthropy, or her campaigns against domestic violence, Moza's proving that philanthropy isn't just about the money, it's about the heart. And speaking of heart, Moza's got a serious passion for art and culture. This queen's not just collecting fancy paintings, she's out here transforming Qatar's cultural landscape. Art, architecture, and cultural legacy. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into Moza's real passion, art and architecture. This queen's got an eye for the finer things, and she's not afraid to show it. When it comes to Qatar's cultural transformation, Moza's been leading the charge like a boss. First off, let's talk about her taste in art. Moza and her family have been collecting some of the most valuable and recognizable pieces out there. We're talking a brooch that's probably by Alexander Calder, Mark Rothko's White Center that they snagged for a cool $72.8 million, Andy Warhol's Men in Her Life that set them back $63.4 million, and get this, Cézanne's The Card Players, which they dropped a record-breaking $250 million on. Yeah, you read that right. But Moza's daughter, Sheikha Al-Mayasa, is the real MVP when it comes to building up the family's art collection. This girl's got an annual budget of around $1 billion to play with. That's a billion with a B, folks. But Moza's not just about collecting art, she's about creating it too. Well, not literally, but she's been the driving force behind some of Qatar's most impressive architectural projects. Take the Qatar National Convention Center, for example. This baby opened up in 2011, and it's packed with all the latest tech for saving water and energy. Moza was all over it, making sure it was designed to meet strict environmental standards while still showing off Qatar's cultural legacy. And then there's the Musharraf development. This thing is massive. We're talking 75 acres smack dab in the middle of downtown Doha. It's got performance venues, public spaces, retail shops, housing, you name it. And guess who's been overseeing the whole thing? That's right, Moza. She's been working hard to make sure this project honors Qatar's culture and heritage while still promoting global engagement. But here's the thing, Moza's not just about the flashy projects. She's got a deep love for art and architecture that goes way beyond the surface level. This queen's been intimately involved in Qatar's transformation, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. Whether it's supervising construction projects or handpicking pieces for the family's art collection, Moza's all in. So yeah, when it comes to art, architecture, and cultural legacy, Moza's the real deal. She's not just a collector or a patron, she's a visionary. And with her at the helm, Qatar's cultural landscape is undergoing a major glow-up. But Moza's influence doesn't stop at Qatar's borders, continuing the legacy. But here's the thing, Moza's impact ain't gonna fade away anytime soon. Nah, this queen's leaving a legacy that's gonna be felt for generations to come. I'm talking long-term repercussions that are gonna change the game in ways we can't even imagine. First off, let's talk about her global presence. Moza's not just a big deal in Qatar, she's a force to be reckoned with on the international stage. From her work with UNESCO to her humanitarian efforts, this queen's been making waves in circles that matter. And trust me, when Moza speaks, People listen. Take her role as UNESCO's special envoy for basic and higher education. Mosa's been repping hard since 2003, pushing for education reforms that are changing the game. And with her at the helm of the Qatar Foundation, you know she's got the resources to back it up. We're talking satellite campuses of American universities in Qatar, global educational opportunities. Mosa's making it happen. But it's not just about the big projects. Mosa's influence is trickling down to the grassroots level too. Whether it's through Celatec's job creation efforts or her campaigns against domestic violence, this queen's making a real difference in people's lives. And that's the kind of impact that lasts. Of course, Mosa's not doing it alone. She's got a dream team backing her up, from her fam to the big players in Qatar's government. But make no mistake, Mosa's the driving force behind it all. She's the visionary, the leader, the one who's making it all happen. And here's the crazy part. Mosa's just getting started. With her passion, her resources and her global influence, there's no telling how far she'll go. We could be looking at a whole new era of education, social reform and cultural exchange, all thanks to Mosa. So yeah, when it comes to Mosa's lasting impact, we ain't seen nothing yet. This queen's got a legacy that's going to be felt for generations to come, and you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a wild ride. And hold on to your hats, folks, because Mosa ain't the only billionaire out there living large. Nah, we got plenty more where that came from. In fact, our next video is going to take you inside the wild world of another mega rich mogul who's been making waves with their crazy spending habits. Despending habits. Despending habits. Despending habits.